Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hope you guys having a good day, or hoping that you guys have better days ahead. Today is Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. It is currently 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. How you guys doing? This is Marlon here, and this is episode 62 of Mushroom City in Minecraft. But just so you know, folks, we're gonna get to that in about an hour from now. But in the first hour, we're going to talk about what's going on all across the country, particularly in the contiguous part of the United States, and the tropical update. And we're also going to do the 3-day forecast, which is part of the national weather discussion, and then we'll get to Minecraft. But now let's just get to it. So, what do we got right now? For the most part, we do have currently 149 active weather alerts. We have 9 severe thunderstorm warnings in Kentucky, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, if I haven't really said Kansas, and Canada. There are 3 flash flood warnings in New Mexico and Texas, 2 special marine warnings offshore and in Florida, 31 special weather statements in Texas, Kansas, Ohio, Arkansas, Florida, Alabama, Oklahoma, if I haven't said Oklahoma, Indiana, Missouri, Tennessee, Georgia, alright. And we have 14 tropical weather alerts, and we have 4 storm surge warnings, 5 tropical storm warnings, 5 tropical storm watches, 33 extreme heat warnings, 3 dense fog advisories, 5 air quality alerts, 43 flood warnings, and 6 red flag warnings. Ooh, that's quite a lot of variety, folks. So let's see, let's talk about the Northeast. So let's just try to make this quick as much as possible, because there's a lot to talk about with Erin. Alright, so what do we have here? So let's just ignore Erin for a little bit and just focus on what's going on throughout the Northeast. So we have clouds and showers that are approaching places like the lake shores of upstate New York, and even northern New England, and just a few passing clouds and showers on the northern tip of Maine. It's all clear throughout the coastal part of New England, especially when you go down along I-95, down through New York City, through the New Jersey Turnpike, and especially going down to Virginia. But however, once you pass the Jersey Shore, there are some clouds that are associated with Erin, which we'll get to in a moment. But other than that, there is an area of low pressure at the surface near Buffalo, and especially near Erie, Pennsylvania, with the stationary front sneaking through the mid-Atlantic, especially in the Carolinas, and it's mostly associated with Erin for the most part. And then we go down, though the Delmarva Peninsula and even Cape May, they're experiencing some showers and clouds. And right now there are tropical storm watches in places like the southern tip of the Delmarva Peninsula, all the way down to the Outer Banks on the north end. There's a tropical storm warning that's in effect on the central part of the Outer Banks of North Carolina, near Kitty Hawk. And there are storm surge warnings throughout the rest of the Outer Banks of North Carolina, all the way to Beaufort. Flood warnings are in effect throughout the coastal part of the Carolinas, plus coastal Georgia, but that has nothing to do with Erin, just so you know, folks. There are some thunderstorms throughout the southern end of the Appalachian Mountains, going down towards Atlanta. Atlanta's getting plenty of rain so far, with a special weather statement in LaGrange, Georgia, just southwest of ATL, if you know what I mean, Tennessee. Pop-up showers and thunderstorms moving towards the southwest, more of which is located in the western part of the state. And there are Oh man, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry about that. There are extreme heat warnings throughout the western part of Tennessee, right along the Mississippi, especially in Memphis, southern part of the Tennessee. They're getting some thunderstorms, but they're spotty though, especially in northern Alabama and especially on the southern tip of Alabama near Mobile, and especially some parts of Mississippi. Though just less in numbers, not widespread though, but still spotty that can cover much of the Magnolia State. The western part of the state, they do have extreme heat warnings as well. And in Arkansas, much of the state is under extreme heat warnings. Special weather statements are in effect throughout parts of the western half of the state. Oh, and that includes the northeastern corner of Arkansas, with a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect, just located near Kenneth, Arkansas, just located north of Memphis, right across the Mississippi. Down to Louisiana, some extreme heat warnings on the northern part of the state. And there is a severe thunderstorm warning located southeast of Baton Rouge in Gonzales, Louisiana, where you're seeing some spotty thunderstorms making its way from Mississippi down to the southwest. And it's mostly just affecting places like Baton Rouge, especially going down to the Big Easy and New Orleans. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to say that. Anyway, there are thunderstorms passing by, just spots of thunderstorms passing by or affecting places throughout the New Orleans area, especially throughout the Lake Pontchartrain causeway that crosses through Lake Pontchartrain. By the way, folks, I'm thinking about bringing up Hurricane Katrina about probably like later next week, like by Friday. We have a special marine warning that's offshore from Louisiana, especially just offshore from the delta of the Mississippi. We go to the Sunshine State, where there are outer bands of thunderstorms coming out of the system right now. And of course, it's not showing Aaron right now, but it'll pretty much do so eventually. But all of this, it's just coming. All of this, it's leading to some outer band flow type of storms. If you guys haven't noticed, all of this is like surrounding Aaron, and we'll get to where Aaron is exactly in just a couple minutes. But in the meantime, Florida, they do have a special marine warning just offshore, just south of Marco Island, as well as special weather statement in the western part of the Everglades. Southwest Florida, they have a lot of rain to deal with, thunderstorms, especially in central Florida. The south of Orlando, west of Sebastian and Palm Bay, Tampa Bay, clearing up for the most part. Then we go to the Big Bend area in Jacksonville. They do have lots of spotty thunderstorms covering much of the panhandle of Florida. But Jacksonville, just quite dry for the time being, but they may experience some thunderstorms in a later time. And we go to the west in Texas and Oklahoma. There are special weather statements throughout the south central part of the state. But I can see that there are air quality alerts throughout the Houston, Galveston area. And especially in Dallas, Fort Worth. It's quite hot, folks, for those who are in the south. There are severe thunderstorm warnings just generally west of San Antonio, just far, especially in Sonora and Jimenez. Wait, is it in Mexico? Yeah, it is in Mexico. Just southwest of Uvalde. Much of Texas, they do have some spotty thunderstorms, mostly they're just popping up due to daytime heating, especially much of Oklahoma. Yep, they've been popping up with some spotty areas of special weather statements. One severe thunderstorm warning located just northwest of Ponca City in Oklahoma. And we go to the Ohio Valley. There are thunderstorms, and it's all because of this cold front that's dominating throughout the Ohio Valley, places like southern Illinois, Indiana, and southeastern lower peninsula Michigan. And it's affecting places like Detroit right now, with some showers, clouds, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, mostly to the south, especially in Ohio, with a special weather statement in Mansfield, just north of Columbus. Cincinnati's getting thunderstorms. Indianapolis, they've had their fair share of thunderstorms. Right now, I mean, they're not much off the hook, but it looks like it may be now, because you have lines of thunderstorms just moving towards the southeast, crossing the Ohio River and into Kentucky. But western Kentucky, there are lots of thunderstorms with two severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect just south of Paducah in Kentucky. The southern tip of Illinois, they're getting a lot of thunderstorms right now. And we do have some flood warnings in effect just outside of the Chicago area, just southwest of the city, and especially northwest of the city, but mostly on the Wisconsin side. And throughout the rest of Michigan, you're not seeing much, but there are some cloud showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder on the southeastern side of Michigan. But elsewhere throughout the lower peninsula, it's quite calm, especially in the upper peninsula of Michigan. But in much of Lake Superior, they are under dense fog advisories. It's quite cool. I mean, humidity does kind of match the temperatures depending on where you are exactly in this part of Michigan. Wisconsin, you're just getting some thunderstorms, a few thunderstorms in the western part of the state, plus southeastern Minnesota, going into northeastern Iowa, with flood warnings all over northeastern Iowa, southern Minnesota, west central Wisconsin, northeastern South Dakota. But other than that, it's quite calm throughout much of northern Minnesota, North Dakota, and much of South Dakota, though there are some spotty thunderstorms throughout the southern and eastern parts of the state. But there is a cold front that's dominating throughout the central part of Minnesota, northeastern South Dakota, and ending at Bismarck, North Dakota. There is a stationary front that's present starting from the central part of Montana, going into South Dakota, then to Nebraska, and then through Kansas, Missouri, and then into Illinois, before transitioning into a cold front that's currently affecting the Ohio Valley. And back to Iowa, not much is going on. I've already covered the details about Iowa. Missouri, there are plenty of thunderstorms throughout the southern part of the state, and it's popping up, folks. There's a lot of thunderstorms. There could be some moderate to heavy rain in some places, all because of this stationary front that's there throughout the central part of the state, and yet it's causing all this problem in the southern half of Missouri. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in Mark Twain National Park. Then we go to Kansas, where there is a flood warning just near Wichita in Hutchinson, Kansas. And there is a severe thunderstorm warning just located in north central Kansas, along with a special weather statement there. There are plenty of thunderstorms throughout much of Kansas, with one coming from Nebraska, just popping up from that part of the state, the central part of the state, entering Kansas at a slow rate within the past 3 hours. Then we go to the northern Rockies, where air quality alerts are present throughout north central Wyoming due to the fact that there have been wildfires, which in which case, if you guys want details, well, that's because there are some wildfires throughout the Bighorn Basin, and especially with that Red Canyon fire they've been mentioning. So folks need to stay away and don't light up anything, no cigarettes, nothing, and just heed local officials' advice. Just head out away from the wildfires, away from the direction of the wildfires, and just evacuate. Well, in the southwestern part of Montana, red flag warnings in effect. We have a cold front that's present, stretching from the central part of Montana, going into southern Idaho, and then briefly transitioning into a stationary front, starting from Boise, crossing into Oregon, and then ending right there. Well, but for the most part, it's quite dry throughout much of the northern Rockies, though eastern Wyoming, there's some spotty thunderstorms. They've been popping up, especially just near Cheyenne and around Cheyenne. Then we go down to, okay, so just about in the past 3 hours, there were hit and miss thunderstorms in Cheyenne. Then we go to Colorado, the central part of the state. There have been some thunderstorms in that part of the state. And just a few clouds and showers in the southwestern corner of the state, but not much to talk about, folks. Utah, not much going on. Northeastern Nevada, just a few pop-up clouds and showers and a few storms there. Though there's a red flag warning there. Red flag warnings all across some parts of the state. Well, particularly in the north central and center part of the state. But right now, it kind of looks like as though there could be some air quality alerts, folks. But we need to take a look at that. But I don't know, for some reason it won't let me. There are extreme heat warnings throughout the southern part of Nevada. It's quite hot there, and especially throughout the southern half of and the western parts of Arizona. There are some thunderstorms that have been popping up throughout much of New Mexico. There's a flash flood warning right between Ruidoso and Mescalero, New Mexico, just located on the southern part of the state. Plus, near Albuquerque, flash flood warnings are in effect. Just a few thunderstorms crossing into Arizona, but affecting on the eastern side of the state. California. Yeah, extreme heat warnings throughout much of Southern California, with the exception of the coastal part of Southern California. Though LA, they're also under extreme heat warnings, but only in the city area and the basin, but the beaches, not so. The valley, they're under extreme heat warnings in San Fernando Valley, and all that extends towards Paso Robles, California. But you're not seeing extreme heat warnings throughout much of the beaches in California. They're cool. That's because you have cooler waters in which it'll lead to sea breezes. And that sea breeze can help cool off communities along the beaches of California. But once you're about a few miles inland, you're under extreme heat warnings. So it's going to be very hot once you go further inland. Extreme heat warnings, especially in Fresno, Bakersfield, and just pretty much on the west side along I-5, heading towards Sacramento. But Sacramento, you're not getting much. You're not getting anything. But it's quite dry throughout California overall, especially much of the Pacific Northwest, though there are just a few clouds and a few showers from Astoria all the way to Seattle. Let me have a drink, folks. All right. Now let's move on to the next scene with this with Radar Omega, which will give me an idea of what the current temperature is like right now. But we'll just make it snappy. So we got an area of high pressure that's located throughout much of New England, giving off some sea breezes throughout much of New England, except for, well, there's just a little bit of sea breeze in northern Maine on the coastal side. But plenty of sea breeze, but just a little bit of stronger winds, just up to 25 miles an hour, up to 30 along some parts of the Delmarva Peninsula. And inland, just some light winds, up to 10 miles an hour, except for Lake Champlain. Just winds kicking up to 25 miles per hour. Winds are moving to the north throughout New York, upstate New York, Pennsylvania. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me X this out. Virginia, they're getting winds coming from the east, but then they're becoming light in West Virginia, shifting to the north. Let's take a look at the temperatures. So what do we got? In New England, temperatures are in the low 60s to mid 70s. Upstate New York and Pennsylvania, temperatures are in the upper 60s to, actually, upstate New York, temperatures are in the upper 60s to upper 70s. Greater New York City area, temperatures are in the 70s overall. Pennsylvania, temperatures are in the mid 70s to low 90s. In the mid-Atlantic, like Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, and D.C., temperatures are in the mid 70s to low 80s. West Virginia, temperatures are in the 80s to low 90s. Then we go to the southeast. Well, winds are becoming somewhat light and variable throughout much of Tennessee, but maximum sustained winds could be up to 20 to 25 miles an hour on the western side. Arkansas, also somewhat light and variable, but in some places you're seeing like winds topping up to 25 miles an hour, but moving to the south generally. But throughout the rest of the south, like Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana, winds are somewhat light though, but they're moving to the southwest generally. Florida, you're experiencing some winds in the Panhandle part. They're moving to the west, blowing up no more than 20 miles an hour. But in the peninsula part, winds are actually coming from Erin, and they're actually moving counterclockwise to the south generally, moving up to 25 miles an hour. Take a look at the temperatures. So what have we got? Temperatures throughout the Carolinas, they are in the low 80, low to mid 80s. Tennessee, temperatures are in the upper 80s to low hundreds. Georgia, temperatures are in the 80s to low 90s. Alabama, Mississippi, temperatures are in the upper 80s to upper 90s. Arkansas, temperatures are in the 80s. Louisiana, temperatures are in the 90s. And we got Florida, temperatures are in the 80s. Then we go to Texas and Oklahoma, where winds are generally moving to the west, blowing at no more than 25 miles an hour statewide. Oklahoma, winds are somewhat light and variable. Winds top at like up to 15 miles an hour, maybe up to 20 in a few places. Temperatures throughout Oklahoma, they are in the mid 80s to upper 90s. Texas, you can see temperatures range. Okay, so in the Panhandle, you got temperatures that are in the upper 80s to mid 90s. Western Texas, mid 70s to mid 90s. Southern Texas, temperatures are in the low 80s to low hundreds. Middle Texas, like San Angelo and Abilene, 98 degrees, clean, 97. Eastern and northeastern Texas, temperatures are in the 90s to low hundreds. Then we go to the Midwest. So in the Dakotas and Minnesota, you have winds coming from the north, but in the Dakotas, winds are shifting to the northwest. Minnesota, winds are moving to the south. And in Kansas and Nebraska, much of the winds and much of Ohio, winds are somewhat light and variable, but on the western side of the Great Plains, they're actually shifting to the northwest. In the Ohio Valley, you have winds that are shifting to the northeast, But then they're moving up to 25 miles an hour, but there is an area where there is counterclockwise flow of winds in just near Detroit. And for the most part, you're seeing winds that are blowing up to 25 miles an hour. Throughout places like Chicago, northern Indiana, parts of Ohio, and parts of Michigan. Hold on a minute, folks. Never mind. Take a look at the temperatures. Temperatures in Kentucky, they're in the 80s. Ohio, mid-70s to upper 80s. Indiana, 80s. Illinois, mid-70s to upper 80s. Then we go to Michigan and Wisconsin. Hold on a minute, folks. Alright, I'm back, folks. Temperatures in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, they are in the mid-60s to low 70s. Lower Peninsula, 70s to low 80s. Wisconsin, 70s. The Dakotas and Minnesota. In Minnesota, temperatures are in the low 70s to low 80s. In the Dakotas, you have temperatures ranging from the mid-70s to low 90s. In the Missouri, throughout the rest of the Missouri River Valley, you have temperatures in Iowa, they're in the 80s. Missouri, temperatures are in the upper 70s, upper 80s to mid 90s. Same story in Kansas and Nebraska. Now let's take a look at the overall picture throughout the West. So for the most part, you're seeing winds in the northern Rockies. They're blowing to the north. In the Great Basin, somewhat light and variable winds in places like western Colorado, much of Utah. But Nevada, you have winds that are moving to the north, blowing up to 25 to 30 miles an hour in some places, especially in southern Idaho and eastern Montana. But in Arizona and New Mexico, you have winds that are somewhat light and variable, but in New Mexico, they're actually coming from the east. Arizona, they're actually coming from the Gulf of California. In California, you have offshore winds blowing down south along the coast. Then you have somewhat light and variable winds in some parts of California, but generally, they're blowing inland. Hold on. Okay, never mind. In the Pacific Northwest, you have winds that are blowing onshore. Yet they're becoming light and variable in some places. But in eastern Washington, they're shifting to the north. Now let's take a look at the temperatures in the northern Rockies. So what do we have here? In Montana, temperatures range from 80 in Kalispell to 100 in Winnett. Idaho, temperatures are in the 80s in the northern half, the southern half 90s. Wyoming, temperatures are in the low 80s to low 90s. Then you have Colorado, Utah, and Nevada. So what do we have here? Temperatures range from 82 in Colorado Springs to 97 in Grand Junction. Hold on a minute. In Utah, you got temperatures range from the upper 80s to low hundreds. In Nevada, temperatures throughout much of the state, they're in the 80s. But on the southern tip, temperatures are in the 90s to mid hundreds. In Arizona, temperatures range from the upper 80s to low hundreds. In Nevada, temperatures throughout much of the state, they're in the 80s. But on the southern tip, temperatures are in the 90s to mid hundreds. In Utah, you got temperatures range from the upper 80s to low hundreds. But on the southern tip, temperatures are in the 90s to mid hundreds. In New Mexico and Arizona, that's the desert southwest. You have temperatures that are in the upper 80s to mid 90s in New Mexico. Arizona, you have temperatures range from 68 in Alpine to 97 in Kingman. In the southern half of Arizona, temperatures are in the hundreds. Sorry about that, folks. 62 in Eureka, temperatures are in the 80s in the San Francisco Bay Area. 91 in LA, 75 in San Diego, 107 in Indio. Temperatures are in the 90s throughout the Central Valley, California. In the Pacific Northwest, you have temperatures that are in the mid 70s to upper 80s in Oregon. Washington State, temperatures are in the low 70s to mid 80s. Now let's talk about gusts. Well, folks, in some places like the Delmarva Peninsula and the Chesapeake Bay area, winds gust up to 30 to 40 miles an hour. You go down south, much of the winds are 30 to 40 miles per hour in gusts offshore. But in South Florida, along the Atlantic side, they're blowing up to 35 miles an hour in terms of gusts. But in Arkansas, you have gusts of up to 45 to 50 miles an hour. But that's only because you're dealing with some severe weather there. Not much going on, just up to 30 miles an hour in some places in the Ohio Valley. And then you go to the Northern Rockies throughout parts of the West, though. You have gusty winds of up to 45 miles an hour throughout much of the parts of Nevada and the Sierra Nevadas, California. Just gusts of no more than 35 miles per hour throughout some parts of the West. Where's the humidity? Well, there's plenty of humidity, lots of humidity throughout the Delmarva Peninsula. And just a little bit of humidity throughout parts of Florida and parts of the southeast. Arkansas, plenty of humidity, but they're on Canada's side. But the Great Lakes region, some humidity is there, especially Minnesota and eastern Dakotas. All right, hold on a minute, folks. Alright, I'm back. Now let's talk about rainfall accumulation. So what do we have here? So along the eastern part of the Great Lakes region and the upper Ohio River Valley, there's an estimate of up to 2 to 4 inches of rain in some places. Locally heavier mounds, up to 2 inches of locally heavy amounts throughout the Delmarva Peninsula, southern tip of New Jersey. And a few parts throughout the south, like Memphis, Arkansas, and even parts of Florida, getting up to an inch or two of rain, especially parts of Texas and up the Mississippi, located in central Missouri, and the parts of the desert southwest getting up to no more than an inch of rain in some places. But just so you know, folks, the gusts, winds, and especially rainfall accumulation, consult with your local officials because this is just an estimate, folks. It doesn't really mean that this is just an accumulation that's just happened. This is just an estimate. Alright, now let's talk about the upper level winds. So what do we have here? Okay. So this is kind of like a semi-tropical update that we're dealing with, folks, and let's assume that this is right now. So what do we have? We have an upper level high that's located throughout the Rocky Mountains. It's leading to a ridge. It's located over Wyoming. There's a trough located over the Great Lakes region, and what I see is a trough just offshore from California. What does this mean? So there's going to be plenty of wet weather to go around right now in a few parts of the Great Basin, and especially plenty of wet weather that's ongoing throughout parts of the Great Lakes region. Much of the south, there are just some spotty thunderstorms here and there, but there's some thunderstorms throughout parts of Florida in association with Erin right now. Now we advance 24 hours into the future. So what do we have? Okay, so this is the part where it's become part tropical update, part 3-day forecast. So here it is. So now we're going to compare the GFS and European models. So we're going to try to make this quick. This is 24 hours from now, and we're seeing that Erin will get close to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And what we see here is that we have an upper level high that's going to sit there over the Great Basin. But there's still going to be a ridge, but it's going to be over the northern Great Plains. A deep trough that's going to occur just over Florida. And another trough just north of Erin. And it's going to get picked up. Yeah, it's definitely going to get picked up by the trough in New England. And there is another trough just north of Washington State. So there's going to be some wet weather that's going to occur throughout the northern Rockies, parts of the Great Basin, and especially some parts of New England and parts of the Northeast. We'll get some wet weather going. But the thing is, this has nothing to do with Erin, just so you know, folks. But there is going to be some wet weather that's going to occur throughout the Carolinas and the mid-Atlantic coast. And some parts of the Jersey Shore. All right, folks? Now, we go just about 24 hours into the future after that, in which case that's Thursday night. There's still going to be an upper level high that's going to dominate throughout the Great Basin. But there's going to be a ridge that's going to be located over in Oregon, another one over Wisconsin. But there is going to be a trough, an upper level low, just located north of North Dakota, and there's a trough just northeast of Maine, and there's this dip in the jet stream that's going to pick up Erin, and it's going to move away. Yeah, it's going to scoop up like ice cream. What does this mean? There's going to be plenty of winds to go around throughout the Northeast, rough waves. I failed to mention that, but regardless. Many of the beaches throughout the East Coast have been closed. That's because of some deadly rip currents. Just so you know, folks, it ain't fun if someone goes there, even for experienced swimmers and surfers. It ain't fun. This is not California. This is not Hawaii type of surfing. This is dangerous. It's a death sentence. Anyway, we're going to get some precipitation going. There's going to be plenty of precipitation, some storms throughout the northern plains like the Dakotas, especially throughout parts of Florida and parts of the Carolinas, but it'll fade away on Thursday night. Now, what about Friday night? Well, there's going to be an upper level low just north of Minnesota that's going to lead to a trough there. An upper level high, it's going to sit there for days over the Great Basin, which means that there's going to be a ridge just over Oregon and Nevada. And there's going to be also another ridge just over Illinois, over Paducah, Kentucky. What does this mean? So it kind of looks like a tiny bit of a Rex block, as you can see, folks. Yeah, a tiny bit of Rex block involved. Yeah, just a mini Rex block that's occurring throughout the Mississippi Valley, the southeast. What does this mean? Well, there's going to be plenty of heat to go around, but cool air starts moving in to the Carolinas. That's because of Erin. It's leaving a mess throughout the East Coast. And then you have this ridge that's going to be over Pennsylvania. What does this mean? There's going to be wet weather throughout the Great Great Lakes region, the upper Mississippi Valley, especially throughout Florida, throughout parts of the southeast, as well as the northern the Great Plains. But however, based on what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like as though there's going to be much precipitation involved. Just minimal amount of precipitation, but it's more heavily concentrated in the southeast. All right. Okay, so let's see. We'll just go to the tropical update. We'll just zoom out and talk about the Atlantic. Okay, so this is what we got right now. Well, not right now, but this is what we got for Friday night. Aaron's going to move away, so that's history. But then we got to focus on what's going to happen right after it leaves Africa. The system that's coming out, known as the Tropical Atlantic Express, but it's not really catching on, to be honest, even for me. So there's going to be something. It could form. Let's just see. Going into Saturday night. Not much is going on. But something could come out of Africa. Maybe something just north of Puerto Rico. Yep, it could be something. Could be something. It's going to move out there on Sunday night. And there's going to be something coming out of Africa. But it's kind of wide. Yet some African dust is going to plague throughout throughout the Atlantic. Alright, I'm back. It's going to be something, as I said, Sunday night, just north of Puerto Rico and coming out of Africa as well, but highly doubtful. But this might get eaten up because you got this trough here. Then we move on to Monday night. Yep, like I said, it's going to get scooped up. And then you have this system that's not quite organized for Monday night, but by Tuesday night, that system's out of here. And then you could have something just north of Puerto Rico, especially east of the Windward Islands. Winds are very strong aloft, right along the tropical Atlantic. For Wednesday night, not much is going on. Winds are getting stronger. You got this deep trough that's building up throughout the eastern part of the eastern part of North America. You got this upper level high that's going to dominate throughout the Atlantic, and all of this is going to suppress any chances of development that's coming out of Africa for next Wednesday night. But next Thursday night, something could form just near the Bahamas. And just coming out of Africa, maybe. But as we move on to Friday night, it's not much, folks. Maybe something just east of the Windward Islands. But then again, you get some African dust involved. And maybe something could form out of Africa. Now let's check the European model. So basically, with the European model, you do have Aaron just located near the Bahamas, and you get some tropical systems coming out of Africa, 2 of them. And let's just play it out. Aaron will slowly move, just get close to the Outer Banks, North Carolina, causing so much trouble along the East Coast. One system could get near the Windward Islands, but it's not going to be organized. Behind it, some formation could happen. Then we advance forward to Thursday night, Aaron gets too close for comfort in the Outer Banks, but still will move out to sea. Then you have this tropical wave. It's going to get near the Windward Islands, but it won't be much. And the system that might have potential might not have potential after all. Then we move to Friday night. Friday night, that system's out of here. It's history. Then we have something that could form just northeast of Puerto Rico. A tiny bit of a tropical wave that's going to approach the Windward Islands, and another one coming out of Africa. And we move on to Saturday night. So by Saturday night, out with Aaron, and one is about to move to the east. But then again, you got this dip in the jet stream, might get picked up. And then, this area of high pressure aloft could take the storm out of here. Yeah, it could get eaten up, folks. This one, this one is not going to be much. It's just going to be a big rainmaker in the Windward Islands, especially the one behind it. Then by Monday night, well, that system is not going to show any signs of potential. That's that, folks. Not much. I mean, it's just some tropical storm. And there's one that's going to pose some problems in terms of rainfall, a little bit of wind right behind it. Some potential involved for Sunday night, but by Monday night, next week, it's not going to be much, folks. It's not going to be much. Even in Puerto Rico, it's just a big rainmaker, and especially that's coming from the east of the Windward Islands. Winds are going to get strong aloft coming out of Africa. And by Tuesday night, something could happen just over Hispaniola. Not much. All the prospects of development could be dead as it makes its way towards the southern end of the Windward Islands. Strong winds aloft coming out of Africa, so very little to no chance at all for development. And there could be something for next Wednesday night, located over the Bahamas, but don't know if this trough will do any good. Barometric swamp just to the northeast of Puerto Rico. Something could form coming out of Africa, just a tropical wave. Next Thursday night, tropical storm could or Category 1 hurricane could make its way towards the Florida Keys in South Florida. And the tropical wave coming out of Africa might make its way towards the west. Well, time will tell, folks. But right now, it doesn't look like there's any potential for any development, or if there's any, very little chance, folks. But not much going on for next Friday night, heading towards the Windward Islands. And for next Saturday night, all that is just nothing much, folks. Nothing much. Well, that's all I can say, folks, at this point. Alright, now let's take a look at what's going on using the National Hurricane Center website. But coming out of Africa, there is a 30% chance of development within the next 2 to 7 days. 60% chance of development within 2 days. 10% chance of development within the next 48 hours. 60% within the next 7 days. But based on my judgment, I don't think this system would do any good. Even if it does have a chance of development into a tropical storm, I'm just not really convinced that this could be any benefit. Given that I've compared the GFS and the European models, it's just not going to happen. I mean, that's just right now, but things can change overnight. I mean, it can happen. But with Aaron, right now, let me just show you guys the cone. There are tropical storm warnings throughout the Outer Banks of North Carolina. To the north, there are tropical storm watches stretching up north towards the Maryland side of the Delmarva Peninsula. And right now, Aaron is currently a Category 2 storm. It's got 105 mile per hour maximum sustained winds. It's moving north-northwest at 10 miles an hour. It's located in terms of coordinates 26.6 degrees north, 72.7 degrees west. And this is as of the 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time Advisory number 34, Tuesday, August 19, 2025. And based on the projected path, it'll maintain its status as a hurricane, but then it'll become a tropical storm after 2 p.m. on Saturday, as it moves out of the East Coast. Even no matter what, whether if it gets close to the Outer Banks or just farther away, but regardless, I mean, there is a tropical storm watch that's in effect throughout the entire island of Bermuda. Well, folks, not much to talk about, but other than that, there are indirect impacts such as beach erosion, coastal flooding, some winds that could get mixed into some parts of the East Coast, like the Mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas. Yet rough waves, beach erosion, all that. It's just awful, folks. Very awful. And now, let me just tune back to here, but we're actually going to show you guys what the projected path looks like in terms of the cone of uncertainty. We'll use here. Use Erin. So Erin, right now it's 105 miles an hour. It's got a barometric pressure of 958 hectopascals. It'll maintain its Category 2 status for the next 3 days, but then becomes Category 1 hurricane on Saturday, and then downgrades to a tropical storm by Sunday. And we do have a tropical depression that's coming out of Africa, and currently it's only got 20 mile per hour sustained winds with a barometric pressure of 1,013 hectopascals. By tomorrow in the morning at 8 a.m., it'll become still a tropical depression with maximum sustained winds of 31 miles an hour. Barometric pressure down by 1 hectopascal. But so far, folks, I mean, this is not according to the National Hurricane Center. I could go back. Show you guys what we got, but it's not really organized, folks. I could show you guys that it's quite disorganized. It's got 30% chance overall. All right, now let's talk about the 3-day forecast. But before we do that, I just want to talk about some waves, folks. Some swells. All right, folks. So basically, we do have up to 20 foot waves using the European model. Right from Palm Bay all the way to up to Brick, New Jersey. Waves that are about to be by up to 20 mile per hour, 20 foot waves. Then we move further in time, 24 hours from now. Rather, we just treat it as like 6 p.m. Yeah, you guys are seeing that 20-foot waves are about to crash into places like Palm Beach, all the way up north towards Virginia Beach, up to 10-foot waves up until you get to places like Nantucket. Then 24 hours later, 20-foot waves. 10-foot waves, 10 to 15-foot waves from Boca Raton all the way to the Outer Banks, but the Outer Banks all the way up to Cape Cod, up to 20-foot waves, causing a lot of trouble for folks out on the water. Hopefully they won't get in the water. By Friday night, worst of the waters will be mostly focused just located from the Outer Banks, North Carolina, all the way up to Canada. But along the southeast coast, just up to 10-foot waves. Then we move on to Saturday. Saturday it's going to be less waves, but still a lot of impacts throughout the Gulf of Maine. It's up to 10 to 20 foot waves. Then by Sunday night, things would slowly return to normal, but not off the hook though. Beaches will be closed throughout the rest of the week, plus going into the weekend. But then Monday, well, waves will subside, but still rough waters regardless. Okay, so now let's focus on getting back to here, and we'll talk about the 3-day forecast right now, folks. Let's talk about temperature first. First, let me take a sip of water. Okay. We're in the warm lows. There's plenty of warm lows throughout South Florida, throughout much of Florida, throughout the lower peninsula, the lower Mississippi Valley, parts of the southeast, parts of Texas, on the east and north side of the state, especially Oklahoma, and throughout southern Arizona, southeast California. Chilly lows throughout the Rockies, parts of the Great Basin, leeward side of the Cascades, Sierra Nevadas, and even parts of the interior Northeast and northeastern Minnesota. By tomorrow night, where the heat waves, Florida, the rest of the Gulf Coast, the Great Plains, Texas, lower Mississippi Valley, Desert Southwest, Great Basin, California. Chilly highs will be all over New England. What about Thursday morning? By Thursday morning, there's going to be plenty of warm lows throughout the southeast, particularly Florida, all the way to the Carolinas, southern Texas, lower Mississippi Valley, the Dakotas, parts of the desert southwest like Arizona, Las Vegas, and eastern California in the southern part of the state, especially northern end of Central Valley, California. Chilly lows be in the Cascades, parts of, much of the Rockies, parts of the Great Basin. Chilly lows throughout New England and parts of the Great Lakes region. What about heat waves? Any plenty of heat throughout the southeast, lower Mississippi Valley, the Great Plains, the desert southwest, the Great Basin, California, especially the leeward side of the Cascades, parts of Oregon. Quite chilly throughout parts of the Northeast. What about Friday morning? By Friday morning, plenty of warm lows throughout Florida, parts of the Southeast, lower Mississippi Valley, much of Texas. A lot of warm lows throughout the desert Southwest, parts of California. Very chilly lows throughout parts of upstate New York and northern Pennsylvania, especially the interior parts of New England, northern plains, the Rocky Mountains, especially in the mid to upper Mississippi Valley. Lots of heat throughout the south, southern plains, desert southwest, Great Basin, and much of the Pacific Northwest. Now let's talk about humidity. Humidity, where is it? There's going to be a lot of humidity throughout the south, Great Plains, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and Mid-Atlantic, especially in the New York City area, parts of the desert southwest. For tomorrow night, humidity is going to be all across the south, Mid-Atlantic, all the way up to New York, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Great Plains, parts of the West Coast, and parts of the desert southwest. Thursday morning, where's the humidity? Humidity is going to be all across the south, parts of the desert southwest, rest of the Great Plains, a little bit throughout the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes region, and especially still ongoing throughout the Mid-Atlantic all the way up to Long Island and even up to Boston. Thursday night, it's going to get less humid on the west side of the Great Lakes, of the Great Plains, but to the east, it's going to be plenty of humidity to go around, but just less humid in parts of the Northeast. Some humidity will be in southern Arizona and even parts of the West Coast. And what about Friday morning? There's going to be plenty of humidity throughout the South, Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, parts of the Great Lakes region, much of the Great Plains except for North Dakota, and especially parts of the desert Southwest. By Friday night, there's going to be a lot of humidity throughout the South except for West Texas, parts of the Great Plains, the Great Lakes region, the Ohio Valley, and parts of the Mid-Atlantic. A little bit of humidity starts going up in the Northeast. Some parts of the West Coast we get a lot of humidity, especially parts of the desert Southwest. Now let's talk about convection. Where's the convection? There's a lot of convection throughout the Great Plains, the South, especially in the middle Appalachian parts of the country and parts of the Ohio Valley. But a lot of the convection, a lot of updraft is located. Much of the updraft, the worst of the Cape will be on the western half of the Gulf Coast. What about tomorrow night? There's going to be a lot of Cape throughout much of the Great Plains, western side of the Gulf Coast. Some convection throughout the southeast all the way up to the Mid-Atlantic, and especially throughout some parts of the Mississippi Valley and parts of Montana. Thursday morning, where's the convection? Convection is located throughout the Gulf Coast, some throughout much of the Great Plains. Now we move on to Thursday night. There's a lot of convection throughout the Great Plains, the central part of the Gulf Coast, some in the southeast, Texas, desert southwest. Friday morning, there's some convection throughout the southeast, the rest of the Gulf Coast, and especially throughout the Great Plains region and parts of the desert southwest. Friday night, there's going to be a lot of convection throughout the south, particularly along the Gulf Coast, the southeast, and plenty of convection throughout the central Great Plains region, the upper Mississippi Valley. There's some convection, and a little bit in parts of the Great Basin, and parts of the desert Southwest too, and as well as the Ohio Valley. And finally, now let's talk about precipitation. So let's see what we got. We're going to get a lot of storms throughout the Northeast for tomorrow morning, and some places throughout the South will get plenty of storms, and some may get from Aaron, particularly in the Outer Banks, and some clouds, showers, and a few storms throughout the Ohio and Mississippi valleys. Few clouds, straight showers and clouds throughout parts of the Great Lakes region, and especially parts of the West Coast, and a little bit of showers and storms throughout parts of Montana. Now let's see what we got for tomorrow night. Well, we still have plenty of storms to go around throughout the Northeast, and basically some storms will be all over the East Coast, but some of them may come from Aaron, particularly throughout the Carolinas, all the way up to the Mid-Atlantic. Gulf Coast, we get a lot of storms, a few clouds and showers throughout parts of the Midwest, like the Great Plains, Mississippi Valley, and especially a few storms throughout the desert Southwest, Great Basin, parts of the Rockies. Then we move on to Thursday morning, where there's going to be some remaining clouds and showers throughout the Northeast, and especially some rain, showers, clouds, a few storms throughout the Carolinas, and more storms from what it looks like throughout parts of the South. Few stray clouds and showers throughout parts of the Mississippi and Ohio valleys. In the Dakotas and parts of Minnesota, some showers and storms, especially in parts of the northern Rockies. A few stray clouds and showers throughout parts of the West Coast. By Thursday night, there will be plenty of clouds and showers throughout much of the East Coast, and plenty of them in the South. In the upper Mississippi Valley, parts of the Great Lakes region, a few clouds and showers, especially in the desert Southwest, Great Basin, Colorado Rockies. A few storms, though. And for Friday morning, some clouds and showers and some storms throughout parts of the South. More storms. Some storms will be throughout the northern plains, upper Mississippi Valley. Aaron moves away. Stray clouds and showers throughout parts of the West Coast and the desert Southwest and parts of the Great Basin. And finally, plenty of storms to go around throughout the South, the Great Plains, parts of the upper Mississippi Valley, and parts of the Great Lakes region. Some storms will be present throughout the Rockies, Great Basin, parts of the desert Southwest. Alright, folks, I've already covered a lot. Now, I've already covered for 70 minutes. Now, I only got 50 minutes of Minecraft to play. So now, let's get to it right now. Let me just play the radar for you guys right now. Okay, so now let's transition to Minecraft. Okay, my mic is on. That's good. Not linear. Yeah, nothing in life is linear, unfortunately, because anything can happen, right? It is 7:09. It's almost 7:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Welcome to the stream for those of you just tuning in. My name is Marlon. This is episode 62 of Mushroom City of Minecraft. And for those of you who just got here, yeah, I just wrapped up the national weather discussion plus the tropical update. That's what I usually do in the first hour of the stream. And in the second hour, this is what I'm doing, Minecraft. Alright, so now let's pick up where we left off. Hold on a minute, folks. I think I'm hearing background music, and also I gotta drink my water real quick. Hold on. Alright, folks, I'm back. I just finished my water. Now, where are we? I think we're at Southwest 20th Avenue. We are about 3.5 miles away from the south end of the city, and that's the part where we need to finish. Yeah, we're making progress, folks. Oh, man, this mouse is giving me trouble. Well, folks, just feeling, tired, but streaming will be my jam. But yeah, hurricanes, they are fucked up. That's what it is. They are completely fucked up. Whew, okay. Well, I've already talked too much about, the convention yesterday. It was good. It was so good. Now, what's my next thing that I'm gonna do? Well, of course, I still need to get the third guy's autograph and selfie with him. But until then, until the next opportunity arises, I'm just gonna see what I can do just to please myself. It's all just gonna be work so far, but just need something fun to do. I've already asked someone if we can hang out or at least do video chat, but unfortunately I got no response yet. But unfortunately it's starting to become what it is. Well, now I'm realizing that this may not be a lackluster summer as I thought it would be. not really a lackluster summer after all. Turns out there were some things that I enjoy, but still, socially, nothing. Nothing going on socially. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to hang out on Labor Day because I have plans. I mean, I'm not leaving town. I do have a visitor. Which means that I'm not going anywhere. But it's the whole after, Labor Day that really riles me up. Yeah. It's gonna be fall. I gotta find something to do. I don't want this to be like another socially lackluster summer. The last time I had a good social summer was 3 years ago. It was just right around the time when I just graduated from college. Things were good. Hold on a minute, folks. Alright, I'm back, folks. Yeah. One, two, by two. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta figure something out to what am I gonna do next month after Labor Day. Because I do have this 1 day off. And it's gonna take place just after the first day of astronomical fall. Thinking about going somewhere nice for fall foliage. Well, think about it. I'll think about it. Oh man, more background music. Okay, So now we are on the west side of the city, and now we're crossing, and we're, for the most part, we are just getting through. I wouldn't call this place downtown because that's to the left. I'll see what I can do at this point. Man, more background music, right? How fun, when you're a streamer, right, folks? Oh yeah, and there's oh yeah, guys. From now on, actually, there's this Bundesliga thing that I've been watching for about 10 years because I've been a fan of Bayern Munich for about 10 years now. And with Thomas Mueller being retired from playing for Bayern Munich, let's see what happens. But I'm not going to guarantee another solid win for Bayern Munich. Because they only managed to recover after they ended up suffering from that 2 seasons ago with their coach Thomas Tuchel. I remember Thomas Tuchel. He just about a season prior, he shook hands with another coach, Antonio Conte. And boy, did they have some heat towards each other. At the time, Thomas Tuchel, he used to coach for Chelsea, and Antonio Conte coached for Tottenham's Hotspurs for the Premier League in England. Both of them are no longer coaches for those teams. And Thomas Tuchel used to coach for Bayern Munich for only 1 season, but that became one of the reasons why Bayern Munich ended up falling 3rd in the Bundesliga. Boy, that ended an 11 season long winning streak of winning the Meisterschale, the name of the trophy for the Bundesliga. Yeah, but we'll see what happens with some new players, whether if they're coming straight from another team or that are just coming out of soccer camp. Got a lot of young talent, but even young talent doesn't guarantee you any wins. I've heard. There's Neymar, of whom we've looked up to since the Confederations Cup in 2013. We thought he was going to do better, but unfortunately, by the time the Brazil played in the quarterfinals of the World Cup at home, Neymar got injured, broke his spine, and then after that, while he did continue playing after recovering, he was not the same old Neymar as we used to know him. He just kept on losing, kept on switching teams. I mean, although he had a good run with FC Barcelona, playing with Messi and Suarez, but in 2017 he went on his own to play for Paris Saint-Germain for quite some time for about a couple seasons before he moved to play for the Saudi Pro League. But even that won't even give him any big breaks that he's looking for, just to get back on his feet. And I don't know about the new generation of players like Jude Bellingham of England and Vinicius Jr. of Brazil. I mean, those guys played for Real Madrid. I mean, even Kylian Mbappe. They played for Real Madrid in the last season, but even that did not really put them at the top. Did not put Real Madrid at the top. They lost to Barcelona. And as a previous Barcelona fan, I would say, yay. I mean, even without Messi. That's pretty much the first time Barcelona had ever won anything after Messi left Barcelona. But I heard that La Liga and the Premier League are underway since last weekend. But I would rather talk about the Bundesliga. Oh man, I can hear someone's GPS being played out loud right now. How fun! How fun! How fucking fun. The sun is setting in the city right now in the game. Yeah, I can hear background music, folks. Alright, I'm back, folks. Ah, more background music. Great. Alright, I'm back, folks, again. You know, I actually, the funny thing is that I actually wore a Weather Channel cap while I was at a convention. Taking selfies and getting autographs from my childhood idols, who made my childhood show. I'll never forget that. But the job's still not yet done. Still gotta meet the third guy, and maybe even I'll get the creator's autograph and maybe selfie. Oh boy, then we got this traitor. Come on, move out of the way, or I'll kill, that person from Minecraft. I mean, you know what I mean, the traitor. We end the stream at 8 o'clock, so right now it is 7:31 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Welcome to the stream. For those of you just tuning in, my name is Marlon, and this is episode 62 of Mushroom City in Minecraft. How you guys doing? Damn my leg. My left leg. Okay, what the actual hell? Will I ever get back on the green screen? Yeah, I will. It's just that I've been really busy lately. I'll probably do it maybe this weekend, or maybe I don't know, maybe next week. But I don't think I have enough time. Maybe during any of the Labor Day weekends, especially Labor Day. Any of you guys looking forward to Labor Day? Anybody got plans for the rest of the summer? Or have plans this fall? For me, just gotta stay home for Labor Day, for the most part. But I have a visitor though, my bro. And as for the fall, well, I mean, I'm only gonna focus what's going on this September, which is next month, and well, not much is going on. Maybe I'll try to squeeze in something just to enjoy myself. We only got about 25 minutes of streaming left, plus the gaming left, plus the topic of the day. You guys stick around, folks, for a little longer. Oh yeah, and there could be some changes with the cone. But I doubt that it'll make much of a difference. I mean, it's only just an update about what's going on, with Aaron mostly. Really? Really, dude? Really? Whoever's honking the horn is a total pain. Yeah, I can hear background noise, folks. Never mind. The sun is rising in the city. Yeah, probably, just taking the sights of full foliage this fall. Depends on where I'm going, but I feel like I want to do something fun. But of course, but saving money, it's important though. Just gotta find cheap ways to enjoy the fun without having to break the bank. Oh boy. Let me try to sit comfortably. Ah, better. Victor, Gangnam Style. I remember that. Psy with Gangnam Style. Whoa, no, Gangnam Style. Yeah, I had that. I had that notification tone from Zedge, that app, back in 2012, like particularly like during my first semester in college. And it was really funny and awkward and embarrassing that I got a notification, and then then that notification, I just set it to size Gangnam Style. That was really funny. And then whenever like an email, whenever I get an email, for example, then I get a notification alert, and then then that ringtone would play Gangnam Style, but only like just those words. On the Gangnam Style. It's funny, but embarrassing. I was a bit embarrassed, but it was funny. Right now we are at Southeast 25th Avenue, but we're gonna fill it. And we're only about 3 miles away from the south end of the city. This is Midway, folks. Now we're on the western side of the city. Southwest 25th Avenue. We just need to get to the western end. You know, the one thing that really annoys me, like as a meteorologist, is that people make weather small talk. Here's what I think about people are trying to make weather small talk. Hey, how about that weather? Lovely day, right? My response would be, yeah. And you know what's a great day for? Shut the fuck up, bitch! I'm kidding, but still. Like, please don't make weather small talk. I mean, if you want to, talk about the weather, at least talk about it in detail, but please don't make it small talk, or otherwise, shut up. We're all about weather, not making it small talk. Dude, talk more about the weather. Don't make it small talk. We're here to learn about the weather. That way, when you learn about the weather, it doesn't make it small talk. I realize that some people are vowing to make weather small talk. I'm starting to get the feeling that some people, like in the powers to be, are vowing to make weather small talk. I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Dude, you're here to learn about the weather, not to make it small talk. If you want to make it small talk, just shut up forever. You're here because you want to learn about the weather. Yes, that's what we're here for. Making it small talk is terrible. This is not a small talk weather type of stream. This is the big deal. Yeah, you guys want to know about the weather? Keep talking about the weather. Don't just stop with making it small talk, because that's pretty pointless. Talk more about the weather. Don't make it small talk. Learn about it. You got 13 minutes of playtime. Ugh. Oh yeah, and in addition to the Bundesliga and soccer talk, there will be football talk. I mean, one of these, some of the streams that I'll be doing, that'll be during a football game, and I'm gonna put on NFL Plus, while I'm streaming, but not to show you guys, and I'm not gonna turn on the TV. I mean, I'm not gonna put up the volume because the mic will pick it up, and then I'll end up getting banned from Twitch. So I'm gonna update you guys, while the game is playing, talking about as many teams as possible, but only the ones that I'm keenly aware of. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a similar rule, you know, in terms of not only in this stream, but also talking about gaming. Never bring up politics. And in this stream, talk about the weather, but don't make it small talk. Or else, just shut up. You know? So, how about that weather? Looks nice. Yeah, it's nice. Want to know more about what's gonna happen throughout the rest of the day, and as well as what's going on? Like how is this happening? Why is the sky blue? Why are there clouds? What are clouds made of? Talk more about it. If you're just gonna leave it there, just shut up. Oh yeah, and I'm also gonna talk about Naruto. Like right around the time, probably. I think it was like September 10th or some shit. Yeah, more background music, folks. More background music. So annoying. As annoying as small weather talk. Yep. 2 words for each for those two decisions. Talk more or shut up. The sun is rising in the city. In the game. Oh, more background music, folks. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Oh, hold on. All right, I'm back again. Sorry about that. Well, now we're in the western part of the city. Yeah, motorcycles, folks. Motorcycles. I gotta use the bathroom. But we will continue with this on Friday. Hold on a minute, folks. Let me just get to the other part of the city. Hold on a minute, folks. Hold on. Motorcycles. Ah, don't you hate them? Okay. So right now we are here, and we're just gonna leave it as is. Give me a moment, folks. I gotta go to the bathroom before we end. I can't hold it any longer. All right, I'm back, folks. Okay, so it is 8:01 p.m. and we're going to end the stream real quick. But first things first, let's see what the tropical update is, folks. this is not it. We're going to refresh the page. Okay, so we do have same scenario as the one from the previous advisory. But, oh wait, actually for Aaron's case, yeah, it's almost the same, but except the intense, yeah, it's just at 105 miles an hour in terms of the APM intermediate advisory. Alright, folks, now let's just switch gears here, and let me just pull up something right now, folks. Because I got something that I do want to show. Or rather, that's part of the weather topic of the day. Hold on a minute, folks. Hold on. All right, I'm back, folks. Okay, so the weather topic of the day is what is a dynamic tropopause? The dynamic tropopause is a way to define the boundary between the troposphere and stratosphere based on potential vorticity, or PV, rather than the standard lapse rate definition. It's a surface where PV gradients are steep, indicating a transition between the weakly stratified troposphere and the strongly stratified stratosphere. Hold on a minute, folks. All right, let's try again. The dynamic tropopause is a way to define the boundary between the troposphere and stratosphere based on potential vorticity, or PV, rather than the standard lapse rate definition. It's a surface where PV gradients are steep, indicating a transition between the weakly stratified troposphere and the strongly stratified stratosphere. This concept is particularly useful in understanding atmospheric phenomena where the lapse rate definition is less clear, such as in the polar regions or during tropopause folding events. All right, folks, that's all the time that we have for today. So what are we going to do in the next stream? Okay, so there will be no stream tomorrow nor Thursday. I will get back to streaming on Friday. It's just that Wednesday I do have a laundry day. Thursday I got somewhere to be. And Friday, Friday I'm going to stream for you guys. I'm pretty busy in the next 2 days starting tomorrow. But do hit me with a follow and turn on the notifications that you guys will know when I'll be streaming the next time. But until then, love you guys. Peace out, everybody. Stay safe and protect others and yourselves. Love you all. Peace out, everybody. Signing out.